South Pass City is one of the few ghost towns in the Rocky Mountain region that is actually on the plains. First established as a stage station on the Oregon Trail along the South Pass, it's ironic that many of the travelers heading west to the gold fields of California could have gone no further because under their feet was gold. In 1867, the discovery of the Carissa lode and hundreds of other promising gold strikes turned the area into a booming mining district. People by the thousands poured in, with South Pass City forming the population core. In fact, it was the second city to be incorporated in the state of Wyoming. Then, 20 years later, the boom was over.
One thing that I find very interesting about South Pass is that the state of Wyoming actually purchased the town as a 75th anniversary present for the state. And today it's maintained and provides some wonderful summer tourist activities, including many walking tours, where you can still see the original buildings. 30,000 artifacts from the original town still remain. So I think, as far as a ghost town being preserved, Wyoming has done a wonderful job with South Pass.
Today, South Pass City gives the ghost town hunter the best chance to experience what a mining boom town was like. It is a town that offers every possible perspective. From picturesque overviews from the surrounding hills that give the lay of the town, to scenes of Main Street, to close-up views of buildings, to the stream that supplies precious water, to the historic Wolverine Mine just north of the town. Though this mine was never a big producer, it provides an experience of the darkened, close atmosphere of the typical gold mine. Nearby, one can get a close-up look at a stamp mill, a huge machine that crushed the gold-bearing rock in preparation for processing. Off in the distance, one can see the famous Carissa mine and mill. It was the main employer during a sequence of gold mining booms and busts from 1868 to the early 1950s. The head frame rises to a height of 57 feet. The ore was hoisted from the mine on 1-ton ore cars, then loaded on the trestle and pushed by hand across the 400-foot span to be processed in the mill house. At the end of the day, the workers returned to South Pass City to eat, drink, play, and sleep.
It has several buildings, including the Carissa Saloon, so named for the mine it's still up the hill. And incidentally, I don't think it's open yet, but the Carissa mine will be open for tours eventually, and it might be open by the time you are seeing this. But in the town itself, there are hotels, saloons, lots of memorabilia.
Memorabilia now on display in many of the town's buildings. Goods from everyday houses. The trappings of a typical Western boomtown saloon. And perhaps most interesting, old rooms completely furnished. South Pass City also has a unique place in American history.
The history of South Pass intrigues me the most because William Bright, who was a member of the first territorial legislature of Wyoming, introduced a bill for women's suffrage. So Wyoming then became the first state to allow women to vote. And it wasn't 3 months after that that another South Pass resident would become the first woman elected to office as Justice of the Peace.
That person was Esther Hobart Morris, and her holding of political office set the stage for women's suffrage in the U.S. with the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920. South Pass Mining District includes a number of mines and a few other mining boom towns.
There are 3 in a row: South Pass City, Atlantic City, and Miner's Delight. Atlantic City has a nice church and a couple of good buildings in it, but it's populated. Miner's Delight is northeast of Atlantic City, and it is completely unpopulated, and so it's a true ghost. And its buildings are modest. There are maybe 4, and they are just log cabins and small structures. But you have to walk to them, and I've had to walk around herds of cattle to get to it. And once there, you are in a pristine ghost town of very small size.
Gold was discovered here in 1868. The mine was located about a quarter-mile west of the town. Boom and bust periods followed the operation of the mine. In March 1882, the mine was completely shut down and not used again until after the turn of the 20th century. The 2 brief boom periods, 1907 and 1910, were in relation to mining operations. Eventually, everybody left. We were eager to see this true ghost. The trailhead is marked by an old miners' cemetery. From there, the trail leads to a gate, which opens but must remain chained. From there, the trail winds through an aspen pine forest. After a fairly long walk, suddenly the first building looms ahead. A beautiful structure perched above a peaceful beaver pond. It couldn't have been more idyllic. From there, a path led to a sequence of buildings. We entered one of them and saw the remains of former inhabitants. There is not a more isolated and beautiful ghost town in the whole West.
Hi, I'm Bill Ambrose. If you like this video, subscribe so we can bring you more programming from our studio. Thank you for subscribing.